Today, we're jumping into a really critical leadership model, one that's changing the game for how we support teams on the front lines of children's services. It's all about building an environment where, not just the families, but also the staff can genuinely thrive.
So, let's kick things off with the big question, the one that's on the mind of pretty much every manager in this field. We all know how demanding this work is, right? And holding on to talented, passionate staff, well, it's a massive challenge. So how can leadership actually make a difference with burnout and keep our team stable?
And here's exactly why that question is so critical. The people doing this work are constantly, day in and day out, exposed to incredibly difficult and traumatic situations. This isn't just about having a tough job. It's work that can take a real toll on a person's well-being. And that, of course, has a direct impact on whether people stay or leave. This is the nut we have to crack.
All right, so to really get at this problem, we need a totally different way of thinking. Let's start by breaking down what it even means for an entire organization to be trauma-informed.
Okay, at its heart, this is a complete framework. It's not just some new policy or a one-off training day. It is a deep-seated commitment from top to bottom to really understand that trauma is a reality, to recognize how it shows up in people's behavior, and then to build our responses around that knowledge.
These 5 principles, they're the absolute bedrock of the whole thing. It all comes down to creating both physical and psychological safety. It's about earning trustworthiness by being transparent. It's giving people real choice and a sense of control, fostering genuine collaboration, and, ultimately focusing on the empowerment of everyone involved, your team and the families they serve.
Now, here is the crucial pivot, especially for you operational managers out there. This isn't just about understanding the trauma that children and families have gone through. It's just as much about recognizing that your own staff are swimming in this high-stress environment, and their reactions, their behaviors, they're being shaped by it too. So if that's the big idea, how do you actually make it happen? Well, this philosophy translates directly into a super clear framework. We're talking 4 core behaviors that any leader can learn and start using in their day-to-day management.
Think of this as your practical toolkit. First up, you have to truly understand how trauma can drive behavior. And I mean in your team members, not just the service users. Second, as the leader, you've got to model how to regulate your own emotions, especially when things get heated. You set the temperature in the room. Third, you need to actively find ways to empower your team and give them back a sense of agency. And last, and this one's huge, you have to create a space where it's actually okay to process tough emotions, instead of just expecting everyone to suck it up and be professional.
Okay, theory is one thing, but what does this look like on a frantic Tuesday morning? Let's get real and talk about the concrete, everyday actions of a trauma-informed leader.
I really want to pause on this quote, because this idea represents the single biggest mental shift you have to make. Instead of seeing a team member who's struggling and thinking they're being difficult or just not listening, you start with a different question. Is it possible this is a stress response? That one question changes your entire approach.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. It's admitting when you've made a mistake. It's explaining the why behind a tough call, even when it's unpopular. It means when an error happens, you're not looking for who to blame, you're looking at how to solve the problem together. It's carving out protected time for the team to actually debrief after a really tough case. And above all, it's about making your team feel psychologically safe enough to speak their minds, to question an idea, or even to just say, hey, I'm not okay today.
So we've walked through the what and the how. Now for the really important part, the so what. Why does making this shift as a leader make such a real, tangible difference to the whole organization?
When you put the 2 styles side by side like this, the difference is it's night and day, isn't it? A traditional compliance-first manager often ends up putting process over people, which can easily lead to a culture of blame. But a trauma-informed leader, they put psychological safety first. They see behavior differently, and what we know is that this directly leads to people wanting to stay.
Then hey, the data really backs this up. This isn't just a nice idea. Organizations that actually put this into practice see real, measurable improvements. Staff retention goes up, people are more engaged in their work, they feel safer. These are not just fluffy nice-to-haves. They are the absolute cornerstones of a stable and effective team.
So, at the end of the day, here's the bottom line. This isn't just about being nice to your staff. Creating a truly safe and supportive environment for your team creates this incredible positive ripple effect. A team that feels supported provides better support. It's that simple. Staff well-being and the quality of service are 2 sides of the very same coin.
So, to wrap this up, I want to leave you with a challenge. It doesn't matter if you're a senior executive or a team manager. Just think about it. What is one small, practical step you can take this week, based on what we've talked about, to start building more psychological safety for your team?